Coming up next, can the mentally ill help heal each other? Moe Armstrong says yes.
He's just back from sharing ideas with the United States Surgeon General. He's consulted by senators, the White House, even the Cuban government. His name is Moe Armstrong, and the ideas he represents about treating mental illness are nothing short of revolutionary.
This system is doing a 180-degree turnaround.
One more thing, Moe Armstrong is schizophrenic.
My axiom is, I can be mentally ill, but I don't have to act crazy. And it took me 30 years to figure that out.
Armstrong is a leader in what is sometimes called the consumer movement, clients of the mental health system who are demanding a greater voice in their treatment.
That's a huge step. You know, before we were kind of the flock, and there was this other group who were the shepherds. Now you kind of sometimes can't tell the shepherds from the flock, and sometimes the flock become the shepherds. I mean, it's kind of a whole new concept, isn't it?
Armstrong has set up a statewide network of peer support meetings for VinFen, a nonprofit human service agency.
It's important being connected to other people.
The idea is that people with mental problems can be best helped by others with similar experiences.
Most of the information written about us was never written by us. It was written by somebody who studied us, some kind of PhD in something that said this is who we are, and it wasn't written by us.
What Moe does and peer support does is gives people who with mental illness hope.
Once considered a fringe idea, the consumer movement now has the ear of government policymakers.
For many, many years, serious mental illnesses like schizophrenia were seen as incurable diseases. The concept of rehabilitation and recovery and peer support is a newer concept in the understanding of mental illnesses, that in fact people can recover from mental illnesses.
Massachusetts is a leader in listening to its mentally ill.
We have an expertise and an experience that the providers don't have, and that's worth something.
John Delman, Ivy League graduate, attorney, manic depressive. He heads up the Consumer Satisfaction Team, a state-funded program in which clients of the mental health system evaluate its effectiveness.
I hope that providers will see what we're offering as a value, just like any business would. You know, just like Staples or Walmart, I'm sure, is very interested in what their clients say.
I think that peer support, peer counseling in one form or another definitely has its place. I think the big concern is the fact that you'll likely see more peer counseling and less professional counseling.
Paul Ling, a psychologist, is with the Consortium for Psychotherapy. It makes sense to him that the state is so supportive of peer education and counseling. Dollars and cents.
It's very cheap. If you have the ill trying to treat themselves, essentially, well, you don't have to spend more money on psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, nurses, and case managers. So I'm not at all surprised that they're embracing it.
If we're only cheap, that's not a reason for doing it. But if you talk to consumers, what they will say is it is not only cheaper, but it's better.
Richard Beinecke has conducted annual surveys of the state's mental health service. He's convinced the consumer-oriented rehabilitation and recovery movement is a step forward.
I think it's a revolution. It's a new paradigm. It's really a new way of looking at the world and of seeing people as peers or as empowered people who really know what's best for themselves.
I know dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way is rough and steep.
Meanwhile, at state-funded clubhouses for the mentally ill, like Webster House, Moe Armstrong continues to spread the gospel of recovery.
Chapter 2. Who wants to read the first paragraph?
But despite a schedule that has him jumping on jets and hobnobbing with policy bigwigs, he wants it known he's not all better.
I have a horrible struggle. Mental illness for me never went away. I would give anything to wake up one day and find out that I was no longer mentally ill.